All right, hold on. I got echo. Jesus Christ. Hey Joe, I'm trying to figure this stuff out, man. I got too much going on. Give me just a sec, y'all. All right, let's see what we got going on here, man. StreamYard is acting real funny right now. If you can hear me, I hate to say this, put a one in the chat. Jesus Christ, man. This is what happens when you get new shit. This is what happens when you get new shit. I can see y'all chatting, but I can't edit a damn thing. Okay, what is going on with the system? Okay, so y'all can't hear me. So we're just gonna rock out for what it is tonight. All right, let's get into the actual intro. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, it's gonna be unorthodox kind of live stream. Jesus Christ, man. What a streamer got going on tonight, man. That's what happens when you get new shit. That's what happens when you get new shit. I hope you all are doing well. I break down the latest and greatest from the world of sports, and of course, anything else that kind of crosses my radar. Yeah, we're gonna get into, of course, the football action. I do have, of course, the latest and greatest from the world of politics. America's favorite reality TV show that we're unwilling participants in. Give shout out to those who have made themselves known, those of you that are hanging out in the clouds. I see you. I see you. All right, let's see. I know Teresa was here first. Even though my chat is kind of backed up. Okay, so y'all can't hear. Okay, cool. I was gonna rock out what it is, man. What's up, Joe? Yes, we're gonna talk about your Bears, the new monsters of the Midway, and their latest performance, and my predictions on where their season could end up. See, Spiderman is in here. Of course, after Cowboys loss, he always shows up on time, ready to go. Thumbnail brought you here. What's going on, brother? It's certain age. Hope all is well with you. Of course. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I just got shit just popping up going on. Oh, come on, StreamYard. What is going on? Can I at least edit my avatar? Damn. We're just gonna make the best of it. I see Miss Murphy's in here, of course, after another Eagles win. Yeah, no, it's not a sideline. What's going on, Mark? What's up, Vic? What's up, man? What's happening? You won't be able to post my short. What about them Panthers? Yeah, we'll talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about them. Seven. What's happening? Listen, Seven. This is weird because StreamYard is being StreamYard, and I don't have the patience for it tonight. I honestly don't. I really, really don't. So I'm just gonna do the best I can with what I have. We'll see where this kind of goes. It's good to work out the kinks now before any other shows. Good to work out kinks. When you get new software and new equipment, Jesus Christ, man, I won't do that again. Never day of. Thoughts on Philip Rivers' return? We're gonna talk about it. Talked about it briefly last week. His first game back since playing in 2021, and if I'm not mistaken, they're playing right now. And last I checked, 49ers are up 31-17. Last time I checked, but let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's go ahead and start off with the cover boy, Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears. Take care of business. Beating the Green Bay Packers, important divisional game, especially coming down the stretch. 22-16 win in overtime. Takeaways from this game. Of course, Jordan Love went out early with a concussion, so that's not an excuse of why they lost, but it was clearly a change in the game plan with Malik Willis, who did a pretty good job as a backup. In a high-pressure game, a very important divisional game, not just important for the division, but when we're talking about possible home field advantage, we're talking about possible playoff seed in a very big game. Malik Willis played okay, but he's not Jordan Love. Hopefully, Jordan Love will be back the next game for you Packers fans. But let's lay some love on the Chicago Bears. Let me come back over here because I left the chat for a second. Thoughts on the Chicago Bears? Listen, I've been saying this for a Super Bowl win. I'm not ready to go there just yet. Not ready to go there just like Miss Murph. But Chicago Bears are for real. I've been saying this for a good chunk of the season. This is the team I was not very high on due to the inconsistent play of Caleb Williams, but they have found a formula for success. The monsters of the Midway are back. Chicago's defense, if you've been paying attention and you've been watching the game, this defense is first of all, one of the better defenses in the league, but it's gotten better as the season kind of winds down. And that is a scary thought for the rest of the NFC because, when you have a defense like that can hold teams, keep them in check, bend, don't break, but get after the quarterback when they need to, force turnovers when they need to. This is a very scary prospect. If I had to kind of grade in a bubble, if you put me, on the spot in regards to what I think their chances are as far as defensively, they have a very good chance. One of the better defenses in the NFC, and they're playing like it. And Caleb Williams, I've been saying this, especially over the last 5 to 6 weeks. He goes, Chicago goes as he goes. And Caleb Williams, if you watch the game, the throws he made, especially at the end of the fourth quarter, and the throw he made to close out in overtime, it's one of the reasons why they drafted this guy number 1 overall for the physical gifts. Like some of those throws, you're talking about only a handful of quarterbacks can make those throws. And to make those throws in high pressure moments, listen, Caleb Williams, if he can play consistent football, turnover free football, getting the ball to his playmakers, and not try to do too much unnecessary stuff, Chicago has a very, 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 very good chance of going very deep into the playoffs. I like what they have with the run game, especially like what they have on the defensive side of the ball. And, Chicago has surprised a lot of people this year. And I don't know why people are slow to kind of catch on. I guess because you're not, if you're not a Bears fan, if you're not watching these games from an analyst point of view, you don't really care. But Chicago has a very good chance. A very big win against a very good team that's also jockeying and fighting for playoff position in the Green Bay Packers. Like I said, Jordan Love did go out in the first quarter of this game, so it did kind of change the dynamic, but that's not an excuse. Everybody gets hurt. People get injured. This is the way of the NFL. But kudos to the Chicago Bears. This is, if you had to put me on the spot, I've been very high on the Rams, but the Rams let me down this past weekend. We'll talk about that. But Chicago is definitely in the conversation for best team in the NFC at this point of the year, based on how they're playing. We'll see what the other contenders kind of look like on that tier 1, talking about namely the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see if the Seahawks can continue to play at the level they're playing at. And of course, the Rams are definitely in that conversation. But Chicago is firmly proven himself to be worthy of being in that conversation. This team is good. This team is good. And if you want to go to base it on talent at the quarterback position, this Caleb Williams, talent-wise, and if he can ever put it together, we'll see. But talent-wise, he has the ability to make some throws that a lot of quarterbacks just cannot make in this league. And Chicago's going to be the last thing the NFC wants is for the Chicago Bears to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. You do not want them playing in front of that home crowd with that energy that they have. You do not want, well, consider that my season is over. I'll go ahead and make this my background. I'll make this my background for the rest of the show. I deserve it. And my Cowboys have earned it. But kudos to the Chicago Bears for putting on another masterful performance, making plays when they needed to and coming up clutch when they needed to. It's going to be a very tough out for a team. Continue along with the NFC because the NFC seems to be a little bit more interesting as far as some of the playoff races are concerned. Congratulations, because I see Miss Murphy's in here. Congratulations. Let me go ahead and do this. Because I'm not going to get another chance to do it. Congratulations. Where is it at? Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, who won against the very lowly Washington Commanders and sold up the division. Philadelphia, the first back-to-back winner in the division in a very, very long time. Bit of a struggle to get there, But they got there. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles who take care of business, win the division, and therefore put out the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll talk about them in just a second. But back to Philly. I think it was a very good performance. Passing wise, and it's probably one of the most complete games offensively you've seen Philadelphia kind of play. Now the defense is doing what the defense does. Big concern that you allow Washington to kind of move the ball in no manner that they move the ball. Jesus Christ, this is. I'm sorry, y'all. This is bothering me. I can't tell if this shit's active or not. It says I'm live. I can't tell if I'm live. Oh boy. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the avatar. Maybe I got to pick another avatar. I don't know. This is really bothering me. This is really bothering me. So for time to time, y'all, if I say put a one, just put a one. Just let me know that I'm not talking to myself ad nauseum here for a couple of hours. StreamYard and the new equipment is not working well with me. I hate how this interface kind of looks. I wish I would have really tested it out beforehand. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Matter of fact, while I'm doing that, give me a sec, y'all. Kind of readjusting here on the fly, but we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done in the best way that we know how. Let's see here. This is bothering my chat. It's not. Fuck it. If I'm up here talking for 2 hours, I'm up here talking for 2 hours. It's best to work out the kinks now. Hold on. Okay, I feel better. Now I feel better. I hear some noise. Okay, I feel better. Feel better. So back to the NFL. Like I said, Philadelphia takes care of business, wins the division, locks it up. Still have an outside shot if other teams kind of fall off the wayside to get home field. Check this out. Philadelphia was my Super Bowl pick coming into this year. I'm still going to ride till the wheels fall off, even though I hate the Eagles. This is my Super Bowl pick. But it's probably one of the best performances, especially the quarterback player, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a very, very good game passing the ball. Didn't try to do too much, got the ball into the hand of his playmakers and kept it simple. Saquon Barkley was able to kind of get going. And but granted, you was playing against a very depleted. Let's keep it a buck. It's a very depleted Washington Commanders team that pretty much doesn't have anything to play for. But it's a division. I'll be back in a few. Okay, cool. Very good divisional game. For what it's worth, records kind of go out the window when you're playing a division rival. Washington did what they could, but when you're down, you lose Mariota to a possible concussion. Then you're down to Josh Johnson at quarterback. It leaves a lot to be desired. So my hopes wasn't too high for the Commanders to get a win, but it is what it is. And let's go ahead and get the pain. Get the pain out of the way for me. Cowboys season is officially over. It was over when Washington won. Not Washington. When Philadelphia beat Washington, the season was officially over. Then they went out there and laid another stinker defensively against the Chargers, who come in and take care of business, 34-17 against. It was good for a half, but just everybody plays their best game. If you look at the stats, Justin Herbert, as far as the way he was throwing the ball against the Dallas Cowboys, best game of the year. I'm glad this season is over. I am happy as hell that the season is over for Cowboys. Listen, Cowboys fans, this wasn't a good team. I've been saying it wasn't a good team. And for people to be, and I'm talking about Cowboys fans, to be upset, listen, you got to be honest. Sleeper. Naps. We're gonna talk about it, man. I appreciate you sliding in. Cowboys are just not a good team. I know it may be hard for some Cowboy fans. I hear that coming from another one, but I'm an analyst and I have to call it like I see it. This team is bad. This team is bad. Now, what I hope with this being the final home game, we end off the season with no major injuries, but changes need to be made to this team. But that's about all I'm as far as throwing dirt on the Cowboys. But listen, the season is over. I'm honestly, I'm happy, man. I'm happy, for it to be officially over, even though it's been officially over since about week 2. I'm gonna be honest with you with how bad this defense has been. I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if defensive coordinator returns. Looks like Trayvon Diggs is going to be out of there once the season is over. Be honest with you, good riddance. You really want to on the field like that. No impact at all. So whatever. But kudos to the Chargers who continue to put pressure on the Denver Broncos. Now, do I think they catch the Broncos? No, but I think the Chargers find themselves in a very good position to make the playoffs as a wild card. Still have an outside shot to catch the Denver Broncos. I don't see it, but it could happen. But like I said, when you play the Dallas Cowboys, whatever ails your offense, don't worry, Dallas. When you play Dallas, they'll fix it. They'll make it all right for you, and it'll be looking like you want it to look as you did in practice. I'm so glad the goddamn season is over. So glad the season is over. Speaking of a season being over, Kansas City Chiefs go down to the Tennessee Titans 26-9. Nothing much really to report there. No Patrick Mahomes. No Gardner Minshew who went out early in this one. They had some guy. And I'm just gonna call him some guy because I don't know who the hell this dude is. Some guy they drafted a couple years ago. He quarterback, but it's over. The season was over a couple of weeks ago for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just kind of playing out the strings. Questions going into the offseason for them. Will Andy Reid stick around? Will Travis Kelce stick around? Obviously need some changes there. But Tennessee, good win, but you were playing a team that really didn't have nothing to play for. I don't know how much hype I can get over that one. But there's just a couple big games that happened this past weekend. Also, I want to kind of get into, I saw Pastor Vic up in here earlier, Panthers, 23-20, taking care of business in a very important game coming out of stretch in the NFC West, NFC South, beating Tampa Bay, clutching out. Baker Mayfield throws a horrible looking interception to end the game. Carolina is going to be a problem out if they make the playoffs. And the reason why I say it's going to be a problem out because you have two very good running backs, and this is a team that is very committed to the run, that leans heavy into the run, and all of that. This is a very, 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 very scary team. Now, defensively, I think this team can be had, and wasn't the greatest defensive performance by this Carolina team, but Carolina is done a lot better on the defensive side of the ball than a lot of people predicted coming into this year. They've kind of found something that works for them, but the running game is probably the scariest part of Carolina. Like Bryce Young, it's going to get the ball out. He's playing much better. But Carolina, that run game, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, that combination, to where both of those guys are kind of interchangeable, but the commitment to the run. If you even look at Carolina's offensive line, the offensive line is really built more for a run attack than more of a pass blocking type scheme. But Carolina, if you're one of those teams that's going to make the playoffs, you want Tampa Bay to get into the playoffs. You don't want to see Carolina. The reason why I say you want to see Tampa Bay, even though Tampa Bay talent-wise on paper is a much better team. Yeah, he was an MVP candidate. Listen, but here's the thing now. I think, and I think it comes out after the season. I've been watching the Buccaneers coming down the stretch, especially as they kind of fallen off of the wagon with this losing streak. A part of me thinks Baker Mayfield is nursing the injury that the team is not disclosing, or he hasn't disclosed to the team. Baker Mayfield just looks off, and he's looked off ever since he got hurt earlier in the year. He just looks off. And I'm not going to, blame you. If you're able to get out on the field, it's not an excuse for any kind of bad performance you have. But Baker Mayfield has looked off. This offense, since he got hurt, has looked like a shell of itself. I mean, you granted you had some good plays in this Carolina game. You had an opportunity late in the fourth quarter, but Baker Mayfield just looks like he's not been 100%. I don't know what it is. It's something. Right? He's hurting. When you watch him, it's like he's kind of forcing some stuff due to an injury. I don't know. It'll probably come out when the season is over, but season may be over sooner than you think. Tampa Bay, if you don't kind of get it together, right now Carolina sits with a 1-game lead in the division, and like I said, Carolina is going to be a scary out for a lot of these playoff teams. Because this is not a high-flying offense, but this is a team that can control the clock with that run game. And, the playoffs, man, is one and done, to play here or play there. and you could be out. So rest of the NFC be on notice, man. Carolina is for real. Carolina is for real. Don't sleep on them because it's not a sexy style of play. They're not slinging the ball all over the field. They're not putting up points in bunches. But this team with that running game, that backfield, Rico Dotto, Chuba Hubbard, you heard it here first. Carolina gets in. It's going to be a problem for some people. It's going to be a problem for some people. Speaking of being a problem for some people, let's kind of get into it. Let's kind of get into it. Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Denver Broncos this past week. Now, I know my executive producer is on hiatus ever since I've left. Ever since I left the Sunday slot open, she's been on kind of hiatus, and Jacksonville is her team. But I'm going to say this, man. I'm going to say this in regards to Jacksonville. If you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I apologize for the disrespect I have shown your team this year. Now, do I still think Jacksonville's going anywhere? Hell no. Hell no. I think they hold on possibly to win a division. Houston Texans are right there in the mix, and we'll talk about them in just a second also. But do I think Jacksonville is the team to beat? Is one of them teams to watch out for come playoff time? No. Granted, you very big win against a very good Denver Broncos team who was looking like the best team in the AFC. But no, I just, I apologize for the disrespect. Jacksonville has got a good team this year, but Trevor Lawrence, until he proves me otherwise, listen, I knew you was gonna come out. I knew you. Hey Gator, how you doing? I'm here, continue. I knew you was gonna come out, and as soon as I got to talking about Jacksonville, you was gonna drop down. Listen, I apologize to all you Jacksonville Jaguars fans. I apologize, man. And happy holidays to you too. I apologize. This is a good team. I didn't have a lot of faith in this team due to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that is kind of hung over this franchise since Trevor Lawrence, or AKA Sunshine, has become the starting quarterback. I just, after watching them against a very good Broncos defense, take care of business in the manner in which they took care of business, was able to move the ball efficiently on the ground. Trevor Lawrence made throws when he needed to make throws. And I was sleeping on Jacksonville's defense, man. I ain't gonna lie. This is not one of the, this is not the Texas defense. But this is a very, very sound defense. This is a very, very sound defense. In Jacksonville, this has always been the problem when I talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Any given Sunday, they can look like one of the best teams in the AFC, and they'll go out the next week and lay a stinker down and have you forget everything that they did in this game here. But this team is for real. Your record is what your record is. I can't dispute that, no matter how much or how little faith. But I doubt delusion. Gator, come on now. Come on. This Trevor Lawrence has let you down so many times. Come on now. Come on. Give a brother a break. I apologize. Damn. I apologize. Damn. Speaking of another team that needs an apology, this is like, I guess this the I'm sorry tour. Tonight. I don't know what the hell come over me. Let's kind of get into it. Steelers hold off Detroit in a very, very interesting game that it ended weird. But the Steelers take care of business in this one. Have a firm grip on the AFC North right now. And Aaron Rodgers, I've been peeking in on Pittsburgh from here and there. This Aaron Rodgers is not blowing me away, but Aaron Rodgers seems like he's kind of getting into a groove now. He will be the big news coming out of Pittsburgh. Star wide receiver DK Metcalf will be suspended for the rest of the year, which is the final 2 games of the year. Will be suspended for the rest of the year for, he says, shoving a fan, but the video footage looks like he punched a fan. Oh damn, I'm up here and I haven't even. I thought I did this. I thought I pinned it. See, man, the StreamYard is. I'm so sloppy tonight. I am so sloppy, but we're gonna get through it. I got to get the kinks out. I got to get the kinks out. Um, yeah, but Pittsburgh took care of business against Detroit. Detroit, luckily for them, did hold a tiebreaker over the Cowboys, was kind of helped in. Them. Detroit could be missing the playoffs, man. This you talking about a team that was 15-2 last year. This defense, um, can't stop a cold, man. Can't stop a cold. Now, granted, you're missing all pro safety Brian Branch back there, and at times you can see the breakdowns in communication in that secondary. But Detroit, yeah, offensively still looks the same, still scary. Out there on the field, but I think the fear factor is gone from a lot of teams in the league. And Pittsburgh has the formula. Has the formula. Hey, we're going to play run game. We're going to have our defense got to get after you in classic football. And I think this needs to be said, and I don't think he gets enough credit for the streak that he is on. Somebody's got to look into how he does it year after year. And who I'm talking about is Mike Tomlin. How you are able to have a winning record for damn near 2 decades. How hard that is to have a winning record every single year in the NFL. That is with the same head coach steering the ship. Mike Tomlin, and I know some people don't like Mike Tomlin. He's not won enough for some people. I mean, dude does have a Super Bowl ring. I don't know how many rings you want him to have before you validate him as a good coach. Mike Tomlin is a very good coach, and him and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, it's got to be the model of consistency. Like this team, even when they have, suspect play at certain positions, namely the quarterback position. You talking about the suspect play that they had ever since Ben Roethlisberger retired. You talking about the changes this team went through last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields at the starting quarterback position, Mason Rudolph at the quarterback position, the injuries to a TJ Watt damn near on a yearly basis. But Mike Tomlin and his coaching staff finds a way to get it done every single year. Every single year, this team is able to have a winning record when it is all said and done. And right now, they're in prime position to seal up the division and look forward to having a home field game in the playoffs, namely because the Patriots come back on the Baltimore Ravens. Not surprised there. Patriots to me is the better team right now, even though on paper, when you look at the talent, Baltimore has the sizable talent gap, but this team has not played like it this year. And listen, Lamar Jackson, I was saying this about Baker Mayfield earlier. Lamar Jackson has clearly not been the same quarterback since he returned back from injury. And the fear factor is gone. I said this a couple weeks ago. The fear factor with Baltimore and that running attack that this team has built their identity on, the fear factor is gone. Teams are listening. I know guys don't want to tackle Derrick Henry, but the fear factor of him being matched up back there with Lamar Jackson is gone. It's gone. And I don't know if what's gotten into Lamar. Lamar doesn't want to run as much. Yeah, there you go. Listen, that is remarkable. Like, even you're talking about 2 decades of winning football. Regardless of how you feel about, if you're a Steelers fan, regardless how you feel how your season ended, to have a winning football program, to be running it in that fashion for 2 decades. Like, people don't, and it's not like Pittsburgh has had like the best talent in the league at any. I don't think anybody's ever looked at any team that Mike Tomlin has had as like looked at them and say, yo, that's the most talented team in the NFL. To be able to do that year after year after year, and you expect the fall off to be, hey, when you transition away from Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin and that staff found a way to get it done. We're going to find a way to be successful despite not having an elite quarterback at the position. And, Aaron Rodgers will be going into the Hall of Fame, but he's not an elite quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. Let him come to the Giants. Please, brother. I think just about any organization would take what a Mike Tomlin is giving them. A steady hand and consistent winning football. Listen, let him come to the Cowboys. I'll take Mike Tomlin. In Pittsburgh, you don't want him. He don't win enough for you. Hell, if he can guarantee me a winning season, I'll take it. I'll take it. But Mike Tomlin deserves his flowers. And I don't think he gets enough kudos for that. I think it's almost to the point where when the Steelers end off the season with a winning record, it's like, oh, that's Mike Tomlin. He's expected to do that. And that is, that is so hard to do in the NFL. But speaking of hard to do, like Pittsburgh, holding on. Baltimore seems like they're kind of falling off the cliff. I'm going to be surprised if the Ravens don't make the playoffs. And like I said, Lamar Jackson has not looked the same since returning from injury. And the fear fact, teams are not afraid of the Baltimore Ravens as they were a year ago. It's not that Derrick Henry has a lot. I think Derrick Henry has looked good this year. But Lamar Jackson is clearly not been the same kind of quarterback. He's not playing at the same level that we're accustomed. And this is a guy who's been an MVP in this league. He's not playing at the level we're accustomed to him playing at. We'll see if Baltimore can kind of right the ship, sneak into the playoffs. But I'm glad I didn't pick Baltimore before the season. I'm glad I did. This is in the eyes of as a analyst, this season has got to be even though you lost Lamar Jackson to injury for a stretch, and that kind of gives you some leeway. If you're a Ravens fan, you got to look at this season as a bit of disappointment. This is a team that came in with aspirations and getting first place, having the number one seed in the AFC come playoff time. Now you kind of facing the prospect you may or may not get into the playoffs at all. So this season, it's got to be looked at as a bit of a disappointment for them. It's got to be looked at as a bit of disappointment for them. Speaking of disappointing, even though the Houston Texans hold on to win against the Raiders team 23-21. Texans, this is not how I'm a bit disappointed. You're talking about a Raiders team that has looked dead in the water pretty much all season long, has not looked like they have any semblance of an offensive identity, and outside of Max Crosby has looked like they have no sense of a defensive identity. This is Texans. This is one of those games, even though you won. This is one of those games where you go out there and you smash the team that has no business being on the field with you at that time. I'm a bit disappointed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a bit disappointed. This game was a lot closer than it needed to be. Is a lot tighter than it needed to be in Texans. This is not gonna. If you're a Houston Texans fan, this is not gonna cut it. If you make it into the playoffs, if you find a way to get into the playoffs, this level of play right here is not gonna cut it. You can't be having debatables with teams that are just playing the string out. This team is just playing the string out. Raiders have nothing to play for, have not had anything to play for a very, very, very long time. And, you're fighting for your playoff lives. And you're supposed to go out there and you're supposed to set an example against this Raiders team. And I was a bit disappointed about the play of the Texans yesterday. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a bit disappointed that you didn't go out there and smash these fools like you were supposed to. With the way that your defense has been playing, CJ Stroud still kind of getting back into the stride of things after returning back from injury. You're supposed to go out there and smash them boys. Leave no doubt, but you did win, so that kind of keeps you in the hunt. Still chasing the Jacksonville Jaguars for the division. It's going to be a very interesting race to the finish in that division. Considering that it looks like the Colts are kind of coming back. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them, of course, throughout the course of the show. Get into another game I had some bit of an interest in. They are who we. What's up, DC? You're gonna have to go back to the beginning of the show and catch all the love I was giving your Bears. Sorry you missed it. I ain't said it again, but welcome to the show, bro. Welcome to the show. Another game I had a lot of interest in yesterday. For this, superficial reasons. Buffalo Bills against the Cleveland Browns. Buffalo holds on to win 23-20 in this one. Mainly watching to see what Shador look like when he's playing against a team that is still jockeying for a playoff position. This is a game, much like the Texas. Buffalo, I was a bit disappointed. In the aspect that, this is a Cleveland team. And Cleveland does have some playmakers. Don't get it wrong, Myles Garrett. I want to say he's tied. I think he's second place right now as far as all-time sacks in the season for that record. I gotta double check. They may have credited him with a half a sack to get it. But Buffalo, much like I talked about the Texans, this is the time you go out there and you smash the team, man. You smash, you smash, you smash, you smash, you smash. Um, Buffalo, you're still chasing the Patriots. I think the Patriots, with 2 games left, I think the Patriots hold on to win the division. But Buffalo's still my Super Bowl pick. I'm glad you guys got to win. Run game is going to have to kind of be your go-to. Josh Allen, that passing offense is still kind of working out the kinks, but James Cook in that running game is the recipe for success for Buffalo. And then on the flip side of that, we've been watching Shedeur Sanders since he's become the starting quarterback. Let me ask you guys a question. You can answer in the chat or not or whatever. Damn, DC. I mean, come on, man. Come on. You can answer in the chat in regards to this. In regards to Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, I think he needs one more sack to get the record. The record's 22-5. Has Shedeur Sanders shown you, and I'm just talking about the casual fan who kind of peeked in on the Cleveland Browns, has Shedeur Sanders played at a level that you think that Cleveland is going to forego drafting a quarterback in the first round? See, I'm of the mindset that Cleveland is still going to draft a quarterback in the first round of this upcoming draft. But I think Shedeur Sanders has played well enough. And I think more than anything, and I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan. I make no qualms about it. I think Shedeur Sanders has done enough to prove to anybody that watches football and understands what they're watching when they watch football. I think Shedeur Sanders has done enough to prove that, hey, not only can he be a starting quarterback in this league, but he's proven he can be successful in this league. If you look at the sample size of what Shedeur Sanders is giving you and what Dillon Gabriel was giving you, it's almost night and day. They look like two completely different teams on the offensive side of the football. Now, you did lose rookie running back Quishon Junkins pretty much for the rest of the year. So that running game takes a hit. But I think Shedeur Sanders, considering the pressure and the attention that he has in the microscope he's been under coming into the draft, during the draft process, coming out of the draft, being the third string, having to be the third string quarterback. And then when he finally got the opportunity, I think, it hasn't always been pretty. It's just a lot he needs to work on, but he is a rookie. But I have thoroughly been impressed by his level of play. Yeah, he needs a full training camp. But I think brother said, if you look at it, I think he's done enough. I think he's done enough to where he can, has earned the right to compete for a starting job. I think even if they bring in a quarterback in the draft in the first round, I think Shedeur has played well enough to where he should be looked at, as far as what you have on the roster now, should be looked at as QB1. I think Dillon Gabriel, I said this, is, Cooper Rush. He's got career backup written all over his body of work. I thought that about him coming into the draft, and I think this dude was a starting quarterback to be playing in the NFL, but it is what it is. They drafted the dude. I think he needs, I think Shedeur could be successful in Cleveland. I think Stefanski's got to go for sure. I don't think that relationship and that marriage has been helpful and working for him. I went back to see the Bears praise of defense, culture of our friendship. Listen. I DC, you don't have to listen. Let's pump our brakes here, DC. Your defense ain't the 85 Bears, bro. Your defense ain't the 85 Bears, but your defense is good. But 85 Bears, nah, they not on that level, bro. Chicago ain't there. It's, you got some pieces on the defensive side of the football, but I don't see Urlacher in the middle. There's no Mike Singletary, running the show. You guys got a good defense. Let's pump our brakes here. I said Monsters of the Midway, DC. That was to grab attention. That was to grab attention, for the shock value. I don't think this is the best defense in the NFL. Hell no. I don't think that at all. But you got a good defense. Your defense is good enough to win a championship. And that's all you need to be excited for, DC. I'm just saying. Be excited for that. And it'd be an opportunity to be, possibly in the Super Bowl. But if you guys get home field, it's going to be a scary prospect going up to Chicago and playing in that weather at that time of year. But let's pump out, DC. Let's pump our brakes, man. I get you guys are excited. All you Bears fans are pumping out your chest and all of that kind of stuff. Listen, I get it. You've had a good season. You got a good team, but you're not the only good team in the NFL. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Good luck to you. Since my team season is over, so that's about all I can say. It's good luck to everybody that makes the playoffs. I know my team won't be there, so I've already got my reservations on the couch. You winning the Super Bowl? Okay, we'll remember you said that, DC. We'll remember you said it because God, listen, as much as Eagles fans can be irritating during the season for me, like you Bears fans, you guys are just you've been on 10 this season. You guys have been on 10 this season. I mean, you at me and all of that. You guys are showing up and breaking your jerseys out of the closet. You guys are proud Bears fans now. I just want to say, man, I didn't see that energy last year. But I'm keep the show moving. Keep the show moving. I like to give shouts out to those who got to support the show. And got to give them an update on their team. The Falcons win against the Cardinals. Nothing to write home about there. Two teams going nowhere, but kudos to the Falcons. Rise up. I guess let's move on to bigger and better things. Let's see. Speaking of this, I think I've gone on most of the big games, but I get into the rest of them also. Cincinnati smashes Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers' first start at quarterback when it's been reported that Tua has been benched, barring injury, has been benched for the rest of the year due to some of his inconsistent play, and the team wanted to see it. This is what you do at the end of the year when your team is clearly not making a playoff run, is not in the conversation at all, and you don't want to go out there and just lay down, but that's when you start seeing rookies getting starts at this position. And Quinn Ewers, looked like a he looked like a rookie. And it was to be expected. Cincinnati's offense is, too little, too late. Cincinnati. This team is built around Joe Burrow and his health, not even his play. I don't think it's a question. Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And the problem is he's not on the field all the time. And you see what it looks like when he's on the field and he has the weapons that he has, what he's able to do. But Cincinnati, another wasted season. You guys have got to, find a way to kind of keep Joe. Cincinnati's biggest priority is coming up season. It's not even defense, and the defense is not that great. It's got to be finding a way to keep this dude healthy. Seems like every single year Burrow gets nicked up with some kind of injury that forces him out, and it derails Cincinnati season. And outside of the Super Bowl run, that's been the story of his career. Now, in regards to on the flip side of that, like I said, Quinn Ewers his first start. Tua, it's a big decision for the Miami Dolphins this upcoming off season. Could be in the market to draft a quarterback in the upcoming draft, but Tua's contract is kind of ugly. But we've seen teams kind of suck it up and take the hit on the chin financially to get out from under a guy. I don't think Tua's. I think Tua. I hate to say it. With all of the challenges he's had as far as dealing with concussions since he's coming to the league. And then various other injuries. I think if Miami moves off of Tua this offseason, Tua could find himself in a situation where he's having to battle for a job. He might need to get the Daniel Jones package and rehab his image in another franchise. It's pretty much over for him. I think it's over for him in Miami. If it's not, this upcoming season, well, if it's not this season, it'll definitely be after the next season. I don't think he figures into their future at the quarterback position. And I think Tua is going to find himself in a position where he's having to compete for play. I don't think a lot of teams don't look at him as a starter due to his injury history. Yeah, it's sad, road tide, road goddamn tide. Oh, you gonna take a shot? Okay, man, go ahead, DC, go ahead. I just, hey, good luck to you, brother. Now, if the season don't end like you think it's gonna end, I just want you to have that same energy when you come back over here. I just want you to have that same energy. And listen, if Chicago happens to make it to the Super Bowl and Chicago happens to win the Super Bowl, dude, I'll let you name the show, pick the thumbnail, and do whatever the hell you want on if they win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. Get into some of the other scores from this past weekend. Vikings take care of business against the Giants. It was a pretty ho-hum game. Pretty much two rookies battling it out. Jackson Dart. You think the young man's got a bright future in New York? But he's gonna have to start. Listen, this dude is gonna have to start trusting his receivers. Now, granted, you haven't had your full complement of receivers all year, and of course he's been hurt. I think Jackson Dart is going to be fine moving forward, but he's going to have to start trusting his receivers a little bit more. Dudes, listen. Somebody tell Jackson Dart in New York, you New York Giants fans, listen. Tell this dude to stop. DC, listen. You guys won the Super Bowl. You don't even have to worry about me co-hosting. Listen. You'll run it all. You'll run it all. Oh, Jesus. Thank God. Well, wrong show. Wrong show. This man. It has been a struggle with StreamYard today, y'all. It has been a struggle with StreamYard today. Yeah, there's been a struggle. Listen, you do whatever you want, DC. If you guys win the Super Bowl, listen, I'll let you and your cohort, your co-conspirator, I'll let you and Joseph, listen, I'll let you pick the thumbnail. I'll let you pick all of that. That's the wrong thumbnail. Don't get caught up. But see, DC, don't worry about it, because I got about 15 of them, man. They don't know. We'll get into that at the bar. But listen, DC, that don't even lead to nothing, though. The receivers can't catch, though. Naps, Naps. I mean, he's still gonna have to get him some weapons. But Jackson Dart takes way too many hits for me. No, but DC, don't worry about the avatar. Don't worry about that, brother. They won't be able to find it. If they found it, then what? Woo! But yeah, the receivers can't catch them. But get into the rest of the NFL scores before we kind of get into some other stuff. Let's see. Saints over the Jets. Ho hum. Saints win that one. I think we got into that. Let me kind of give an update on the 49ers and Colts before we kind of move on. 49ers are up 41-27, fourth quarter. And I said I was going to talk about Phillip Rivers. Listen, he's Phillip Rivers. One surprise, they brought this dude back after not playing for damn near 4 seasons. But it goes to show you, this is an example, for a lot of other teams. You can adjust your playbook and fit it to the talents of the players that you have playing that position, namely the quarterback position. Phillip Rivers, who hasn't played, before last week, hasn't played since 2021, is now starting for Indianapolis as they fight for their playoff lives coming down the stretch. 49ers could be putting a nail in their coffin tonight. But Phillip Rivers, this is a perfect example of what a team looks like when they get DC. DC, the power of silence. But say that for another time, DC. Say that for another time. But Phillip Rivers is a perfect example. Listen, Shane Steichen and that coaching staff understand the physical limitations, and if you don't think Phillip Rivers has physical limitations after not playing in the league for 4 years, you're smoking dope. But able to construct a game plan that works for them, that is going to be successful for this team. And listen, the defense is falling off of a cliff. After playing, very good sound football early part of the season. Offensively, I think the Colts have enough to get it done. I think, but Phillip Rivers, they've constructed the game plan. Hey, short throws, dink and dunk, get it to the hand of the playmakers, lean on Jonathan Taylor. That is a formula for success. You good, DC. Cut up tomorrow, man. Cut up tomorrow. Cut up tomorrow. All right, so I think I got all the scores. I want to make sure I give every team their proper due. Oh, I'll be remiss. That's a Thursday. I don't want to talk about the Thursday game, but that was a good game. Seahawks winning overtime against the Rams. Despite having 3 turnovers in that game, Seattle was able to do enough to win that game. Rams, and this is part of the thing with the Rams, and this is why I didn't pick them for for my Super Bowl pick before the season started. Inconsistent at times on the defensive side of the ball, especially, but 14 to have 3 turnovers, and still keep it a dog fight and end up winning in overtime says a lot about what you guys got. Defensively, you guys have taken a step back, especially over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Guys are taking a kind of step back. Talking about the Rams, I'm taking a step back, and you that's that question mark I always have about the Rams. That's why I didn't pick them. That's why I didn't pick them for my Super Bowl pick. But anyway, moving on. I want to get into the latest and greatest from America's favorite reality TV show. Like I always say, that we're unwilling participants in. This is kind of, I want to kind of get into. No, that's for another show. I want to kind of get into this briefly because it's going to kind of set up where I'm going with some of the other portions of the show. I got a brief clip, and I've seen clips like this floating, but I haven't seen one in a while, and I just want to kind of revisit this as we kind of get into, of course, the Epstein redaction, because we can't call it a file release. But I want to kind of get into Turning Point USA. For those of you that didn't take the time out to watch it, it was streaming on Rumble. And I've got some takeaways from it and some major talking points, and we'll kind of get into that. But it's a clip here, kind of brings it back full circle, in regards to some of the stuff that's happened since this administration, since this regime has come into power. I'm going to play this clip real quick. It's kind of like a healthy reminder. And we're kind of getting to, and of course, with some of the Turning Point stuff, it sounds, it fits. Trust me, it fits. Let me make sure I'm on the big screen here. Make me put myself here. All right, check this out, y'all.
They are being starved. They are thirsty, only given 1 cup of water per day. Are denied bathroom privileges, are denied medical attention. People in ICE concentration camps are losing their lives. And don't even think about saying FAFO. Look around and find out to these people in ICE detention centers. It is a shame that members of the Black community started the trend, and so many other people followed. This is an updated voting poll. Brown people voted for Kamala Harris more, but you fall for the colonizers' divisive tactics, the inaccurate voting polls, the initial propaganda. It is immature and immoral to be centering that type of behavior in response to a community that is being mass deported, imprisoned in concentration camps, and tossed out of the country to who knows where without any rights or contact to any lawyer or family. When we should be focused on solidarity, and this has to stop immediately, especially those of you who claim to be activists perpetuating this FAFOBS nonsense.
Shouts out to Aaliyah, because this is where it was on her page when I first saw this lady, this Mexican lady, and then I went to her page and she doubled down and literally said that they helped us during the Civil War, which is a lie. And the Mexicans helped free the slaves. First of all, Mexico had slavery themselves that wasn't abolished until 1829 or 1830 or something, somewhere around there. And the president that abolished slavery in Mexico was Afro-Indigenous. I don't know why they keep leaving that part out. He looked more like a negro than he looked like. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? And when we were down there, we was fighting beside them. We was helping to protect their borders. They conveniently leave that out. All this civil rights, there was nobody that was not fighting with us for civil rights. Is a lie and a scam, not as a collective. And they know a lot of them are anti-Black. It is so crazy that they keep blaming us. First of all, we've been saying fuck around and found out, just like we've been saying a whole bunch of other shit that they co-opt and steal and turn into something else. Fuck around and found out never really had no political meaning. That's just how Black people talk. Bitch, fuck around and find out. That's how we talk. Why do they keep blaming us and censoring us when we are not the ones that's putting them in concentration camps? We do not yield, nor do we hold the power to deport them. They are focusing on the wrong. Y'all not mad at MAGA? Why y'all not to white man? I mean, we just got to call it a spade a spade. It's so weird that the Mexican and the Latino community keeps coming for Black people. It's because we're not putting our bodies, we're not sacrificing our bodies and going and running out and standing on the front lines. Is that what it is? Why they got so much animosity toward us like we're the ones that's doing this to them? We're not inflicting any pain on you. And as per Aaliyah's video, because I never saw that initial video, she played a video of a bald head clear guy coining fuck around and find out for political purposes. Once again, stealing our shit, renaming, reclassifying it, giving it a different meaning. We're not making fun of y'all like that. We really ain't. We don't give a. It's unfortunate, but stop blaming. You're pointing. You're.
All right. Am I still good over here? Hold on. Come on, StreamYard. There we go, my boy. There we go, my boy. Listen, and we've done portions of the show on this throughout the year, especially with this new regime in power. It's been reported that more deaths have happened in ICE detention centers, ICE custody centers, in this past year than has ever happened before. Listen, and then she said, listen, it is unfortunate, but, you know, I hate to say this, a lot of it is fuck around and find out. You bought into the lies. You thought that he was going to, and I'm talking about, Agent Orange. You thought he was going to, get the bad guys, the bad criminals, the bad Venezuelans out of here. No. And you're running this narrative that you want to run to the Black community, and we're all about solidarity and all of that. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I feel for your situation. I hope it gets better. But I'm good. We don't have to be the face of everyone's struggle. It's funny they love to run to the Black community when they want a shield. Want to put a Black face on the movement. It's a coalition, and we together. No, we not. No, we not. And no, we not. We not. And I played that. Excuse me. Give me a sip of water. I played that to kind of lead into this here. We'll get into the Epstein stuff in just a second, but Turning Point USA, like I said, had an event this past weekend. And what's called Turning Point USA's event. If you watch it on Rumble, it was, for lack of better terms, a very high class clan-ish rally. But I played that clip for a reason. Because I got a couple things, because you want this coalition, and you want to, want black folks to jump on the bullet. And the vice president of the United States had this to say. In his comments, one of the speakers at Turning Point, one of the keynote speakers at Turning Point USA, JD Vance, had this to say. And I wanted to tie both together because you don't never see the Latino community reaching out to the Caucasian community and asking for solidarity and a coalition. You don't see that. Help us and all of that. But I want to put this on the big screen here because JD Vance, and like I said, if you haven't watched the Turning Point USA event, you need to go check it out just for research purposes. Because here's what they really, he says the quiet part out loud. And I found it fascinating. Here you are, the vice president of the United States. You're at let's keep Turning Point USA for what it is. It's a white nationalism fest, love fest for what it is. So you look at some of the speakers that they were allowed to grace the stage during this event. This is pretty much a white nationalist rally. That's what it is. Like I said, very clannish. But here's you have the vice president of the United States, a guy who is supposed to be, represent. Well, once you get elected to a position, you're supposed to be representing your constituents, quote unquote. Whether they be Republican or Democrat or independent. But of course, that's not the real world, because it's in the real world, it's not Republican or Democrat. They're all the same. It's rich versus poor, but that's the story for another day. But check out what JD Vance had to say. Here you are, keynote speaker at this political rally. Let's keep it, let's just try to be PG about it. And he had this to say.
Unlike the left, we stand against treating anybody. And I love what Nikki said about this. We don't treat anybody different because of their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs. In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. And if you're an Asian, you don't have to talk around your skin color when you're applying for college, because we judge people based on who they are, not on ethnicity and things they can't control. We don't persecute you for being male, for being straight, for being gay, for being anything. The only thing that we demand is that you be a great American patriot. And if you're that, you're very much on our team. Unlike.
Let me come back over here. Gator, come on now. Gator, come on now. This is the vice president of the United States in a room, and I hate saying this all the time. Yeah, brother, I'm saying, listen, I hate saying this all the time, but I tell you, people are stupid. People are stupid. People are stupid. Yeah, you might listen, DC. If you got to get it, if you get an opportunity to check it out, peek in. Sometimes it's nice to peek in and see what folks is really doing let's keep it a buck when we ain't around. Here you have the vice president of the United States saying you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. We got rid of DEI, and these folks is clapping along, especially some of these white women, like DEI benefited you the most. But these people are dumb. These people are dumb, and I was going to save this for another show. I mean, but let's they bring people. I'm gonna get the clip ready, y'all. Give me a sec. They bring people like this around to further drive home, their own talking points. For those who, when he said what Nikki said, yeah, we got the clip and we're gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. Give me a second. Let me get it set up real quick. Let's get it set up real quick. Okay. Come back over here. Jesus Christ. Okay, bring this here. All right. I'll get out my assets. Yeah, they had Nikki up here, but this is what she had to say. At being at this political rally. She has a message for you black women. Yeah, in a place that is where you don't see a lot of black faces in the crowd, but she had a message for black women at a white nationalist rally. But let's go.
If as black women we felt that we were not being represented and not being admired for our beauty, if we felt like that as black women, why would we want to do that to other women? Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty so that we can feel, no, that's not how it works. I don't need someone with blonde hair and blue eyes to downplay their beauty because I know my beauty. Do you understand? It doesn't bother me that a woman feels and says that she's beautiful.
Let me come back over here. Barb's down bad. She has a message for you black women. Stop talking down and talking bad about white women. And she's going full Charlie, listen. Gator girl, that's the irony. Charlie Kirk once said about Nicki Minaj, she's a horrible example for young black girls. But hey, you know what? They always get their token, get their token Negroes up. Now you're addressing black women. The irony in a room full of white folks, but you're addressing black women. Why do you have this to say at something like I don't know where a lot of black women go, the Essence Fest? Why you didn't have this commentary for when you're around your quote unquote your people? Listen, and that's why I say entertainers and these folks, man, you can't look at these folks as leaders and think they're giving you some righteous guidance because they famous. These folks are fucking idiots too. Where's the camera? She must be broke. Look, Gator girl. She might be looking for a sweet deal on a party for a husband. I mean, Trump giving it out like candy. Oh yes, he's costing. Listen, Gator. Gator, I don't know. Let me know. I'll talk about it in the other spot. I don't think I've talked about it here, but yeah, her husband, due to a lawsuit that he lost, the $20 million home is might be put up for sale to facilitate because she hasn't paid the guy that won the lawsuit against her husband. So it's been reported that the $20 million home that she has out there in California that has been put up, or could be put up. I'll say that could be put up because it's a fluid situation. Could be put up for sale to facilitate paying that man what he is owed, what he won in his lawsuit. I'm just saying. But this is like I said, Turning Point USA. Listen, this is you gotta peek in sometimes. And I know, listen, a lot of it was distasteful. A lot of it was, all of that. But here you have a black woman addressing black women at an all-white event. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And then she's the token flavor of the month. I mean, this is the same woman that they allowed to represent the United States and actually have something to say at the United Nations, as a representative for the United States. They invited her to come speak at the United Nations. This is full. Woo. Yeah, I saw they didn't let Myron from Fresh and Fit in. Yeah. But Nikki was invited. We're gonna make them feel good. Black women don't talk about white women. What the fuck does that got to do with anything? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? But you tokens, take your tokens. You be what you gonna be. Got up there and was sounding nonsensical the entire portion. I'm trying to get like what would possess you to want to address anything dealing with black people at an all white event? We're not there to hear it. We're not there to receive it in person. I don't understand. It's almost like like having a church service in the middle of nowhere. What was the point? What was the point of having a church service and no one showed up? I'm just saying. It falls on deaf ears. It's like preaching the gospel to a room full of animals. Like they don't understand what you're saying. They're not able to receive your message. But okay, okay. But matter of fact, let me take this down because I'm sick of her right now. Let me see. I do got one more thing. Then we're gonna kind of get into the Epstein fake release, the redaction, and my thoughts on that. You guys have got to see this. You guys have got to see now. This is Matt. I'm gonna play this clip a couple of times. What happened to the complaining about Democrats having stars? Brother said, "Come on now, let's do as I say, not as I do." Come on now, do as I say, not as I do. I mean, but this is the kind of stuff that depraved culture, that they was kind of promote. You guys, I'm gonna play it about 5 times because it's a short clip. But I kind of set it up for you. We'll see what you're looking at here. This is from also from Turning Point USA. Excuse me. DC, play nice. You're heavy-handed, man. You're so heavy-handed. I'm gonna set up this clip here. What you have here is from Turning Point USA event, and if that tent in the background looks familiar, what they have done is recreate the tent as a stick. This is a prop outside of the venue where people are allowed to come take photos at the tent. Well, you know what? I'll let her explain it, and you guys let me know. I'm gonna play it a couple times. You see if you can, tell me what that tent. Let's go.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it. You can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it. You can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it. You can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
Let me come back over here. Gator, pathetic ain't the word. Pathetic ain't the word. You actually set up a tent at an event that was headlined by his widow, who doesn't seem, too much like a widow, but each his own. But you actually set up a tent replicating something that was so traumatic to that demographic. We're gonna. Can you imagine? Black folks is setting up something like this at let's say a major black event, Essence Fest. Well, we gonna have we gonna replicate the MLK shot, or we gonna replicate going to a Muslim event, and they have a replica of the stage that Malcolm X died on. You can come take a selfie. Like this is the weirdo shit. This is weird. Brother of Southern nature. It gets worse. I mean, you had Speaker of the House Johnson pretty much say that Washington is trying to move forward with having a memorial set up for Charlie Kirk in Washington, complete with statue and everything. Charlie Kirk. They've called him their version of MLK. Yeah, the Speaker of the House Johnson come out and say that Washington is trying to aggressively move forward with placing a memorial for Charlie Kirk in Washington, while they strip down the Smithsonian and the African History Museum of anything that hints at slavery. Do as I say, not as I do. Do as I, and that kind of flew under the radar, brother. That flew under the radar because people were so focused. If you take Turning Point USA, people were focused on the infighting between Ben Shapiro and Steve Bannon. That happened. I want to say on day one. Of course, J.D. Vance, Erica Kirk. Her word, her Freudian slip, calling President Trump a grifter. And then of course, Nicki Minaj. It was so much going on. You gotta check it out, man. You gotta check it out. But moving on, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Turning Point USA because I do want to get into my own message. My own message for tonight. You had to release, non-release, whatever that was, this past Friday. The Epstein Files. Epstein Files, a law that was in place, passed by Congress, signed into law by Trump over a month ago. The deadline for full release, and it was supposed to be the full release according to the law of all the files related to the Epstein quote unquote hoax, depending on who you ask. It was supposed to be released on Friday, and what we got was a bunch of redacted pages. We got grand jury documents, one of them 119 pages, straight black, no information. It has some doctrine of pictures. Released a picture with Michael Jackson. I forgot who else was in the picture, but it was a picture with Michael Jackson. I think Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, and I want to say Bill Clinton was in a photo, and they blurred out the picture to make it seem like it was victims in the picture. And when the real photo was found, it was found to be pictures of their own kids. I don't know why anybody is surprised that you didn't get the full release of the Epstein file. You'll never get it. Ever. You'll never get it. The amount of people, and when you think about the stuff that they're saying, hundreds of thousands of documents, the amount of people that are tied into it and involved in this, you're talking about not just here in the United States, but you're talking about possible oligarchs in Russia. You're talking about other people in foreign nations that could be tied to Epstein. Listen, you'll never, ever get it. And you even had former President Clinton come out and say, "Hey, release the full thing, include anything with me, and release it all. I ain't got nothing to hide." This administration, listen, you'll never get the full story. You'll never get the full files. It was, it's a law, but they've shown you on day one, they're willing to violate, the spirit of that law to protect, Agent Orange. Because listen, in the words of somebody I know, if Agent Orange gets pinched and kind of tied up in this, listen, if I go down, we all go down. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, you never get the full release. I mean, they've spent, with his DOJ and his FBI, they've spent, listen, from the moment he got elected. You can't trust anything from the. I don't trust it. Listen, I don't trust anything from this White House. I mean, look who's running the show. I didn't even get into the Susan Wiles, his chief of staff. The fallout from her Vanity Fair interview. How they tried to spin that when she pretty much sounds like she laid out how she really feels about everybody that she works for in the White House. Listen, this is so much chaos, and it is designed to be that. Meanwhile, while they keep you, let me take this down. While they keep you distracted with the Epstein files, and then whatever headline. I mean, talking about healthcare subsidies are about to skyrocket. It's just you're not paying. They hope you're not paying attention to the final things. How Congress is not in session. The House of Representatives was sent home early, quote unquote, for the holidays. It's a lot of bullshit going on. But what you really need to be paying attention to is the money. It's always politics is. I say this all the time. Politics is a business. Politics is a business. You're talking about Jared Kushner, along with some of the people that he's working with, are working on a possible proposal to find a way to finagle money out of the U.S. government. Let's keep it a buck, to go over there and quote unquote rebuild Gaza back up. Jared Kushner is working behind the scenes. He's not the face of the group, but he's part of a group of a couple of firms that are working to put together a proposal to present to the U.S. for we'll pay us X amount of billions of dollars and we can rebuild Gaza. Blah blah blah. Listen, it's all about the money. If you think they're going to rebuild Gaza and Trump ain't gonna have his name on something. They start rebuilding Gaza during his administration. He's going to have his name on something. This is the same guy that threw his name on the Kennedy Center because it makes him feel good. It's about ego and it's about money. It's about ego and it's about money. Politics is about money, and that's what it is. But the Epstein stuff is a distraction. Now they're talking about they're going to try to get Pam Bondi and I talked about Nicki Minaj, Miss. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. No, I'm not. When they allowed this clown to get up in front of the United Nations, and she's talking about Christians being persecuted in a place that she ain't even from or never been. Like, let's stop the cap. Stop the cap. So, well, why did it's usually closer to home? You could be campaigning for and rallying for, but then again, you're a fucking entertainer. I don't look at you for leadership or look at you for guidance. I don't. I don't. But pay attention to the money moves that are being made. Pay attention to the money moves. But we're about to see. January is going to be a very interesting month. Very interesting month moving forward. I mean, subsidies, ACA subsidies are about to go up, and a lot of these, so-called people that was, some of these same people that was sitting in that, rally at Turning Point USA are about to really fuck around and find out when the premiums go up. They're about to find out when them premiums go up. Oh, this shit is real. But anyway, let me kind of get into, because I don't want to have too much of a long show. Brother has had a very good day, had a very good weekend. So, spending time with the fam and all of that kind of stuff, doing, holiday-ish type stuff. So next week, I might take me a little. I know I'm allowed some vacation time over. I'm gonna allow some vacation time over here, but I might depending on how I'm feeling. I might take a little time off for my activities. I might, but I might not, depending on how I'm feeling. But I do want to get, and I haven't seen her. She must be busy working. I haven't seen Beautiful pop in here tonight, but I know this is one of her favorite parts of the show. I want to get into the pulpit portion of the show because I think I got a bit of a message. I think I got a bit of a message. Then we're gonna get our ass up on out of here, man. And I hope you have a very good week and all of that. But let's kind of get into it. That pulpit portion of the show. All right, it's a pulpit portion of the show where I try to leave you off with some positive thoughts and all that kind of stuff as you head throughout the rest of your week. Hope you all have a very, very good Christmas in a couple of days. Hope you and the family have a very good holidays. I hope you're being safe out there as you travel for the holidays. Before we kind of get into it, brother, your insurance went up. Yeah, man. Even insurance through your employer has kind of gone up. Like, people are bracing for it. People are bracing for it. And for those that fucked around and I'm gonna do something else, and I didn't get involved with open enrollment when it was offered to them, about to get greasy for you. And trust me, you think you just go to the hospital and the hospital's gonna treat you, but they're gonna pass off a lot of that on your bills, man. And this talk of your medical bills being placed back onto your credit report, Jesus Christ. But anyway, let me get into my I got a couple things, couple thoughts. As I've we wind down this year, this is typically the time of year when people get reflect on the year, get the year end recaps and when your year end review and all of that kind of stuff. And then you start, making if you're one of those people that have a vision board. You have a vision board of what you want to do for 2026 and so forth into the future about all of that good stuff. And I just got a couple words that I hope find this I hope this lands where it was supposed to land. But not everything gets access to you. Shouldn't get everything shouldn't get access to you. Not everyone should be able to get a seat at your table. And what I mean by that is, some people think that, because they know you, they've interacted with you in the past, or they've had a word or two to say to you. You've had conversations with them. You got to understand, everything doesn't get access, shouldn't get access to you. And what I mean, everything, like, just because you know, well, I wouldn't say you know me, of me. That doesn't afford you the right. See, some people kind of get that confused, thinking, if I saw you, say I saw you in the grocery store, I saw you at a party, I saw you at a club, or wherever they saw you at, that affords them, the right to have access to you. And it doesn't work like that. You don't have access to me. Access is granted, not, you don't make your own permission up. And this is about, and I've talked about this in the past about, setting boundaries for yourself and, protecting your space, and sometimes reinforcing those boundaries. But everything shouldn't have access to you. Everything shouldn't have access to just because you think of me, you say my name, that means that you should have access to me. Access is granted. So moving forward, moving forward, protect, set your boundaries. Allow people that you want to have access to you to have access to you. Nothing, there's no guarantee that you get access to me. It's nothing guaranteed unless you are family. And when I mean family, I mean like my immediate family. And even then, it's not a guarantee that you get access to me. Because if I don't want to deal with you, I have that. And they don't. Some people don't understand. You have that right to say no. I don't want to grant you access to me. No, I don't want you to interact with you. I don't want you in my presence, and I have that right. You don't get access to me because you want to. I grant access to me because I want to. But moving. I got a couple things. And not everyone should get a seat at your table. No, I need access. DC. I mean, but DC is it's not even crazy, but some people, walk around in life thinking that, they've earned access to you. See, that's another key thing. Is we had and we'll talk about the past in just a second. But some people think they've earned the right to have access. No. You haven't earned any. You haven't earned access. You've earned maybe an opportunity to have access. For me to grant that wish of you having access, but you haven't earned it. But not everyone gets a seat at your table. Not everyone that wants to be in. And I know, some people understand where I'm going with this. Like everybody doesn't, everyone doesn't get a seat at your table. Everyone doesn't get a seat at your table. Some people don't need to be sitting at your table. And this is part that goes back into, protecting your boundaries and protecting your energy and granting access. Because some people, how can I put it? Put it in terms you can understand. Some people go to a restaurant not to enjoy the food, but some people go to be a food critic. You got people that are paid to go to restaurants and critique the food. Now they may have hopes of enjoying what they're eating because they don't know what they're eating because their job is to go and critique. Their job is to go to your restaurant and treat your life like your restaurant. Some people are paid to go to your restaurant and critique. They don't like the layout of your restaurant. They don't like this and they don't like that. And why is the silverware like this? And why is the service so slow? Some people are designed to be like this. So you can't let everybody just sit at your table because, like I said, some people are just sitting at your table to be food critics. I hope this is not going over a lot of people's heads what I'm saying. But then again, my audience is smart enough to, put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5. I'm just saying. Everybody can't sit at your table. Some people want to come to your table and listen. And this is part of, listen to your spirit of the sermon. Some people want to come to your table and truly enjoy what you've prepared for them. Some people will come. Some people will come and just for the simple fact they want to critique what you're cooking. Want to critique the meal, critique who's at the table sitting with you. Some people are like that. Some people just don't, some people just not designed to go to a cookout and just want to have fun. That's why you can't, you can't let anybody into your house. It's like, you can't do that. It's people out there that will come to your house and not want to enjoy your company or the comforts of your home, but will sit there and critique and see what you got going on. Oh, that's a new TV. That picture wasn't there last time I was here. They must be doing this. Oh, it's a little dusty. They must be doing bad. So everybody can't come, sit at your table, man. Can't grant access. And that keyword being that grant access. Grant being the first one. You in charge of grant access. Yeah, some people want to flip your table, DC. I'm just saying. You listen to your spirit of discernment. Everybody can't come to your meals. Everybody can't come to the cookout. How you gonna hate from outside the club? You can't even get in. I mean, and another thing, and I would say this. DC, play nice. And not and here's a tough lesson for some. But it's a lesson if you are mature enough to understand really where I'm going with this one. Not every chapter gets to continue just because it once mattered. I'm gonna let that marinate on you, marinate and sizzle in your spirit for a second. Okay, that last one. I'll say it again for the recorders and the cloud watchers. Not every chapter gets to continue just because it once mattered. I can go into I can break it down a little bit more than I will. Just because and this, I said I was going to bring it back to your past. Just because you was once doing something, and at the time it mattered, for lack of better terms, not every chapter gets to continue just because it once mattered. Like some relationships, some interactions, end for a reason. Exactly, DC. That's a good writing reference. When you once you get to the last chapter, and this goes back now, I circle back to it. This grant access, just because how can I put it in terms? I don't care how many chapters you want to add and books you want to add to the Bible. The Bible ends in Revelations. So no matter how much you want the story to continue, the Bible still ends in Revelations. I know that's going over some folks' heads, and I love it. The Bible still ends in Revelations. All you left with is, going back and rereading chapters, rereading books, going back to Psalms, going back to the book of Job, and all you're left with. No matter how you flip it, no matter how many times you read the same stories over and over, the book still ends in the book of Revelations. The Bible still ends that way. The end. Finito. Doesn't continue. There's no additional chapters. There's no volume 2. It's over. It's over. Oh boy. And here's you know, and I like to get a little personal sometimes. Well, somebody asked me, it's like, what's the best lesson you learned this year? And then I had to think about it. Considering who I am and what my journey has been, for lack of a better term. I would say this: the best lesson I learned this year is that you can't have one foot in your old life and one foot in your new life and expect change. You have to fully commit to the new life. Like, you can't say I want to live a healthier lifestyle, and you're doing stuff that's self-destructive to your body. You're still doing, like, I want to be healthy. I want to live longer, but I don't want to stop smoking. I don't want to stop drinking. Well, you really, you got one foot in, one foot out. You want a new life, but you're still stuck in your old life. Hold on, let me get a little sip of water on that one. And I know that's not going over a lot of people's, but when you can't expect change when you got one foot in, one foot out. DC, you can't leave town, and that's Bible reference there. Bible reference there. Like, you, and going into the new year, like, if you want to commit to something, and that is your choice, whatever that is. And I'm not talking, and I know some goofy thinking it's about social media and YouTube. Like, no, it's not. This is real life shit. I mean, because it's that time of year when you start thinking, like I said, you start thinking about what your new year is going to look like, your next year is going to look like. You're planning ahead, you're hoping for this, you're hoping for that. But you got to understand, you can't expect to flourish in a new life. You can't expect to flourish in a new chapter in life when you still stuck reading up the pages from the old one. You can't say I want want the story to continue in a better way, but I'm still reading the same 5 pages over and over and over again. Don't work like that. Don't work like you can't expect change. You can't. You can't expect change. And then, like I said, if you want to commit to a new life, do that. But you can't expect change if you got one foot in, you can't have one foot in, one foot out. You got to be fully committed. And if you're fully committed the other way, you really don't want change. You like how things are. Sometimes that's not a bad thing. I don't want you to think it's loving your family is that's something you don't want to change. You don't want that to change into something else. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but to each his own. I'll let you decide on what that is for you. But when you aspire to want something new, when you aspire to want a new life, or being a new chapter of life, sometimes you got to leave the old behind. You have to. You good, DC? I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, man, let me get my ass up out of here, man. I hope you all have a very good Christmas, man. If I don't see you around, it is what it is. Appreciate. Matter of fact, for those that were here last year, bonuses will be going out. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I meant to do it today, but I'll probably do it tomorrow. Bonuses will be going out. And like I said, I say bonuses, but just token of appreciation, man, because you don't normally hear this, especially online. When I appreciate each and every one of you that tune in and listen. Not as a food critic, but someone who enjoys what I'm cooking up over here. I just like to show appreciation. I just like to show appreciation in my own way for that. So like, yeah, you know, for those that come to the table, you know, not being a food critic, you know, I like to, you know, pass along the blessings. Pass along the blessings, you know, blessed and highly favored. Blessed and highly favored, not folks on payroll. Miss Murphy, it's whatever. Maybe one day. Maybe one day, but you know, it is what it is. And I believe in passing down. How they say, pay it forward. Pay it forward. I just look at it like that. And it's whatever. And look, some clown is thinking it's money. It's not necessarily money. Goofies. No, DC, you'll never get me to say, how about them Bears? Never, sir. Not in the same tone and inference that I would my Cowboys. Not ever. Not ever. Don't listen. That part that shows up. Don't get it fucked up. Still Cowboys for life over here. But anyway, Miss Murphy, this how did it say the fighting without fighting? Ooh. But like I said, man, you know, that's kind of like my pulpit for tonight. Beautiful. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Ooh. Oh, Miss Murph. Let me get me out of there if I get in trouble. For those, yeah, of course we'll be doing you know, that show tomorrow. And we'll see from there, man. I hope everybody has a good, safe holiday, man. I hope you have a good New Year and all of that good shit. I don't know what folks got planned and all of that kind of stuff, man. But you know, I hope you enjoy what you're doing and be blessed and all of that. You know, too much here that. Be blessed, man, and you know, find joy in life. Some folks need it, man. Some folks need it. And I hope you got something out of tonight's show. Beautiful, gonna kick my ass. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'm ending you off with the phrase that pays over here as we get up out of here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But every time you learn. And I'm out.